hopefully this works. This meeting is being live streamed. You got it. Your meeting for you.
We have Elizabeth is on.
Okay, so we should be live streaming. We're on YouTube now, everybody.
Ooh,
I know, exciting.
Right.
hit 6.
Wow.
And also cloud record. And we all have to be on good behavior.
It's 5:45 p.m. February 28th, 2022. I will call to order the City of Norwalk Planning and Zoning Commission business meeting. Hillary, will you call the roll, please?
Grant, Brown,
Here.
Thompson,
Here.
Steiger.
Here.
Samuelson.
Here.
Reaganier, McConnell.
Here. All right, item number 3 is the approval of the agenda. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Hearing nothing, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 4 is the February 14th, 2022 minutes of the regular Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing nothing, I will entertain a motion to approve the February 14th, 2022 minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Stagger motion. Samuelson second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, item number 5 is consideration and recommendation of the preliminary plat site plan of Marketplace Townhomes of Echo Valley. Luke, will you brief us?
Absolutely. So this is for a townhome development that is in the Marketplace at Echo Valley area. It's off Marketplace Drive and south of the Alice Place apartments. You can see there on the screen, the apartments are shown under construction at the time. We are looking at townhome, again, R3 development per the PUD, approximately 40 units planned to be built out in 3 phases. You can see there, phase 1, the southwestern portion, phase 2, and then or phase 2 would be kind of the northern and then the eastern, and then phase 3 would be the back portion to the northeast. Meets our zoning regulations for this. Again, it's within the Echo Valley PUD parcel J, which allowed for townhomes in that area. Let me open up the staff report on here. Interested. Staff report includes all the relevant site plan, prelim plat information. Most of the time with a townhome development, we do them concurrently because they're kind of one and the same at that point in time. Most of the public infrastructure to this is related to sewer and water. Streets would be private. And then area architectural elevations there of the different facades. So with that, I know the developer engineer and developer are here if you have questions of that.
Would you have anything to say if you do come up to the dais and say your name?
Thank you. Oops. Electricity. Dean Ruggiero with CDA. Here on behalf of Marketplace Townhomes LLC. Brandon Bolus is also available if there's any questions about architecture or anything. Not really a whole lot to add. It's townhome units. They've got some really nice architecture going on, and be happy to answer any questions you have.
What, just out of curiosity, what do you kind of hope for who will buy these?
Thanks, Phil. Hello, Brandon Polis. Good to see you all. Marketplace Townhomes. Address is 3135 Prairie Rose Drive in Norwalk. So thanks for having me here. We envision this as an executive townhome development. So we're using very high level finishes, long lasting materials. metal paneling, standing seam metal roofs, flat roofs, like commercial grade build. The garages are too wide, but they have extra depth for golf cart or bikes with our nice connection to the bike path and the connection to the golf course. We feel this is a great jump into homes in that high 300s, low 400s price range. It just doesn't exist. Think about Gray's Landing downtown by Gray's Lake that Hubble and some of the other developers have done. Think a similar architectural style. I would say we'll have really nice interior fit and finish. So we're very excited about it. Our sales team is really optimistic. We have really great comps for it. And we think we'll be bringing something to Norwalk that's very unique with a high-end design, urban development, kind of hitting the suburbs. So
I'm excited about that, but didn't our staff report say 250? And which kind of surprised me from an earlier meeting we had.
no, they're bigger. They're
I
more
thought
finished
they
square
were
feet
gonna
than a
be
lot of them.
higher, really.
Yeah, they're
high.
over 2,000 finished square feet.
I don't think the staff report did identify a price point.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe just some tax estimate.
Yeah,
The tax
yeah.
assessment is
Yep.
what I
So in,
was-
in our analysis, when we do the
what I
assumption
meant
for
to say.
tax generated from something, we do a assumption of a 250 price point per unit, but it's not meant to reflect what these
Okay.
actual units are.
I was just curious about that because I'd heard differently and I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be a really good.
She's getting ready to put down her down payment, so.
That'd be great. Call me
She
after.
sent us an email ahead and it's like, we better get this thing through.
Okay, any discussion? Any other discussion at all? Questions? Hearing nothing, I will entertain a motion to approve the preliminary plat site plan of Marketplace Townhomes at Echo Valley.
Brown motions.
Samuelson will second.
Motion in a second. Hillary, will you call the roll?
Steiger.
Yeah.
Samuelson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Thompson,
yes,
McConnell.
Yes. All right, that moves forward. Thank you all for being
Thank you
here.
very much.
Okay, thanks.
Item number 6 is consideration and recommendation on the preliminary plat of Hughes Century Crossing, Plat 5. Luke, you can brief us.
Yeah, so these next two items are kind of interrelated. They are the next two phases of Hughes Crossing. We'll talk about Plat 5 first. You can see here, Plat 5 is the first leg of Chatham's extension east of the highway. So it'll be that ultimate cross section with, I believe, 4 lanes at the intersection, then tapering back down once you get past the Hughes Drive, and then Hughes Drive extension south to its current street stub. That will create one additional development lot called Lot 1. There's also an additional development lot in the existing Hughes Century Crossing Plat 1 in this area. So this will provide a second access point off the rear of that lot. It also, let me pull the staff report here. All right, maybe get it up. In addition to the road work being done there, if you look at the grading plan here, this plat plus Plat 6 in totality encompasses the mass grading of the sports center site. So you can see here the kind of general grading that they're doing through the, this is the commercial town center district of the site, and then the starting grading work of the site for the sports complex. And then you'll see on the next one, the kind of rest of the fields and grading that out. So it'll improve that grading work. And then again, the infrastructure related to Chatham and Hughes Drive.
Any questions?
Hey, Luke, I was looking at this land. If I think back to our previous meeting where we talked about this, the homeowners just to the south
Yes.
were asking quite a few questions about water.
Yep.
Moving south, close to Hughes Drive.
Yep.
That area there. So from this land grading that you're showing here,
Mm.
it looks like we'll still have a ridge through that easement. It looks like there's an easement there, that there will be a ridge there.
Yep.
So there was, but it doesn't look like it's, is it gonna be, are they gonna take that ridge down in elevation?
So right now, for the kind of mass grading of the site, you can kind of see this kind of bold in shape. And there's you can see the old drainage way through there.
Yep.
They're retaining all this drainage on this plat.
Yep.
For 5 going into this kind of sump basin really.
Yep.
And then going on north. And then the idea with this northern area plus our sports complex and stuff
Yeah.
is the city's building a regional detention basin. Let me go.
We've talked about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back up here by the capital city
Yeah.
fruit area. So all that stuff will drain along that kind of green corridor right now up into that area where we'll have some detention basins.
Okay.
On plat 6, when we take a look at that, that's got the grading of the detention basin and what'll happen down in that area with the water on the southern part of the site.
Okay. And then my second question is on that lot 1 that we're creating,
Mhm.
is that already in development? What?
Yeah, right now we'll just be creating a lot that then can be developed.
Okay.
With the Hughes Crossing PUD that we did,
Yeah.
you know, that set kind of the zoning and all the bulk regulation standards.
Yeah.
Once we've got this platted out and so right now we're doing a prelim plat, right? So they'll pull construction documents and construction plans for all the roads. They'll go build all that stuff. Once that stuff's in, we'll come back and do a final plat that will actually create the lot as a buildable lot. At that point, then they can sell it off to a commercial user who can come in and give us a site plan and then they can build something. Now, that's the normal process, how all that goes. With this whole thing, you know, there may come in a point in time where we have a user that's really wanting to go and the final plat maybe comes in before some of the roads are done, and then we'll accept some bond work for that. We might be doing some things concurrently. Just there's gonna be some moving pieces there with everything and how approvals go through the process, so. Yeah.
Good to know.
Any other questions? Discussion? Hearing nothing, I will entertain a motion to recommend approval of the preliminary plat, site plan, preliminary plan of Hughes Century Crossing Plat 5.
Second motion.
Brown second.
Motion and a second. Hillary, will you call the roll, please?
Samuelson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Thompson,
yes,
Steiger,
Yes.
McConnell.
Yes. Thank you. That moves forward. So item 7 is consideration and recommendation on the preliminary plat of Hughes Century Crossing Plat 6. Luke?
So this now is the southern portion of that area. Hughes Drive going south from its current location by the Gordon Retail Complex, and then intersecting with the High Road extension from East 18th over to Cherry Parkway. Or I'm sorry, I think, no, that is 18th. I can't remember if that's 18th or 17th. So you think I'd remember that?
17.
17th. So what we have here is those road right of ways again, road construction, sewer, water construction. For that, actually sewer construction was already constructed as part of the Hughes retail complex. They built the sewer line over kind of down Hughes Drive and across High Road. So that is in place. So here we're really dealing with water and streets and storm sewer. Lot wise, we have lot 1 being created. That's kind of at the Cherry and 28 corner, High Road corner. And then this lot 2 down here is created. That is the lot that is restricted to either parking or duplex, 2-family residential or single-family residential. And then outlot X, which is where the stormwater detention basin is. So if we look over here again, like I said, that's just kind of the lot layout and road layout. If you look at the overall plat, you'll see the rest of the grading, mass grading to the north. So you got a lot of flatness in that area, right, for the fields. You've got some drainage swales that kind of come around this side and move water. And then down here you have the basin that sits south of High Road, and then outlets into the city-owned outlot A down there. That's kind of the current low point where water goes through the area. So this basin will continue to outlet to that point. Stormwater reports show that it'll detain the water, it'll release it at the appropriate release rates, which would improve conditions downstream. We do know that downstream from here, there is the city system needs to be looked at. So Public Works is looking at hiring a engineering company to go back and do a study of that area to the south to see what improvements the city might need to do to help water move along there and help with flooding. I think everybody's experienced the flooding on Cherry and all that stuff at certain points in time. So really taking a look at that and seeing what the city needs to do regarding the city's storm sewer system down there. But from the developer standpoint, again, the basin will hold back the water like it's supposed to and release it at the appropriate release rate, which should improve conditions.
Any discussion, questions?
Hi, all. I was wondering what traffic controls will be at the High Road and Cherry intersection?
I believe right now they have not identified anything. A lot of times in the prelim plat standpoint, we don't identify specific traffic control measures. My guess would be you'd probably end up with a stop sign at High Road. We'll probably look at that a little closer as things get built out and you start having movements through there. PD may want to decide to put a stop sign there day one, or maybe an uncontrolled intersection for the time being. Public Works was looking at some additional expansion that we could do on Cherry Parkway going to the north, as far as widening that out a little bit and trying to establish. Right now, there's room for one car to kind of snake by another one and make a right hand north onto 28, but it's not really set up that way. So looking at what we can do paving wise to maybe formalize that turning movement, as far as a through and left hand turn and then a right hand turn off of Cherry. But coming back to High Road, like I said, I believe that'd probably just be a stop sign.
This kind of ties into Elizabeth's question. So when the sports complex starts to come online and Chatham gets further developed and we start having more traffic up there, I know there's plan for signalization to Chatham eventually.
Mhm.
Will that happen concurrently with sports complex, or do you think there'll be a time gap in between there?
There'll probably be a time gap in between because the DOT requires us to meet their warrants for traffic. Hopefully, as it's coming online, the actual use of that plus eminent projects that we have commercially that are wanting to get going are enough for us to be able to show those warrants and that it's needed imminently, right? So we can get that traffic signal online shortly thereafter. But day one that Chatham opens, there won't be a signal there. It'll probably wait until that connection gets all the way back to the East 17th connection, which is what kind of provides the main direct connection to the sports complex.
Got it. And then that goes to District 1 now, correct?
I'm sorry, say that
For
again.
DOT wise, does that go? to
District 1, yes.
Okay, so I thought.
Any other questions? Hearing nothing, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Did we lose everybody?
No, we're still on Zoom.
Okay.
Did you hit the
Bumped the button on the thing, so our monitors here went out. That's why it beeped at me. We're still good though. It came back up there.
It's back up.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll step back from the console.
It's the most horrifying experience of my life.
That's why I don't sit up there anymore.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to approve the preliminary plat of use Century Crossing Plat 6.
Is that your second?
Motion and a second. Hillary, will you call the roll, please?
Brown,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Steiger,
Yes.
Samuelson,
Yes.
McConnell.
Yes. Item number 8 is city council update. Mr. Ed Cool, our liaison. Ed?
I think I heard Ed cough.
Here we go.
Nope, you just muted yourself again, Ed.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you now.
All right, good deal. All right. Well, the city council in the last meeting reviewed the outline of the development agreements for this particular area, as a matter of fact. And then when we meet on Thursday, we have quite a few things in front of us. We're going to be vacating some property up on Highway 28 that has a bearing on the new motel that we believe is going in up there. And we'll get that accomplished. I'm fairly confident of that one. And then we have a Sportsplex development agreement and a TIF commitment in it to fund that project. Then the other thing we got in front of us is an agreement with Diligent Development that's also a TIF authorization to fund the project for the rest of that area that you folks have been talking about tonight. And then we'll be approving a capital city fruit site plan that has to do with addition and extension that I think they want to do with their facilities. Then we have, let's see, a urban renewal district that we'll be creating in that area that has a lot to do with our ability to fund these projects and to give us the authority to do it through the TIF program. We'll also be rezoning about 106 acres out on Doc Ron's old farm. I'm sure you folks are familiar with that one. It'll go from agricultural reserve to single family housing with R160 lots in it. So it's a pretty full agenda. You folks over in the development world keep us hopping, and you just keep us busy, and that's a good thing. We like that. But do you have any questions about those things that I just talked about, or anything else? Okay, well, thanks for your time. Thanks for all your hard work this evening. We appreciate you looking after the city moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Item number 9 is the economic development update. Holly, are you with us?
I think, I think she ended up not being able, she was trying to stick around. She also had to go give a presentation at the school board related to Norwalk Central. So, a lot of her time has been spent wrapping up those development agreements, getting all that stuff put in place so that, we can get these roads paid for and everything. Obviously, these 2 plats that we talked about here, the public roads associated to it, especially Chatham and Hughes, commercial roads that will reimburse the developer back through our TIF program. So roads that are getting put in by our developer, but also a good thing for the city and something that ultimately ends up being a city project through our TIF program. And then ultimately, obviously with that extending further to the east and then connecting down to the sports complex and then all of that stuff. So I know that's kept her very busy, as well as the hotel project. Ed mentioned some right-of-way work going on up there, acquiring some ground there. Essentially, the DOT is vacating some of their right-of-way. That'll allow the hotel to move closer to the road and out of some potential wetland areas. If you look up here, you can kind of see this kind of wooded area. That's some drainage that comes off the highway. That's a critical area that can't be touched. It's part of the waters of the US. So you have to do a lot of effort to develop in those areas. So right-of-way work that we're working on lets the hotel move up out of that area. It really makes the site developable for that use and gets us some frontage lots on the extension of Echo Valley Drive that'll allow for some additional development to happen outside of the hotel. So it's exciting stuff.
All right. Do you have any other community updates from your perspective?
Sure. I mean, other projects going on. You guys saw the rezoning, and Ed mentioned for the Ron property out here that was before us for a public hearing at the last meeting. At some point, we'll have the PUD for the ground that's between Shadow Creek and that new development come forward for you all to consider. So it's kind of the next kind of real big area of residential to go is going to be that corner of Beardsley. So we'll have that coming forward. Working on some potential project that would happen back behind Get and Go, still trying to figure out how access to the Highway 28 works with that, and coming off Marketplace Drive and what happens with Get and Go and providing access to them as we redo the Beardsley intersection project, which will be happening in the next year, I believe. So a lot of work there. I guess other infrastructure projects, North Avenue intersection. Actually, I believe this one gets happening this summer and the other one will be the following summer. So 2 good intersection projects happening. North Avenue one's gonna be, there's just gonna be it's gonna be a problematic area as that project's going on. You gotta shut down lanes and all that stuff, and it's already tight as is. So it's a necessary evil to happen to make that situation better at North Avenue and Highway 28. So that'll be something to look forward to. And I guess as the rest of that goes, we had our kind of internal staff meeting with our comp plan consultants, got our next steering committee meeting scheduled. So we've done the kind of final tweaks to.
Didn't get that memo.
Okay, I'll get that up to you. But did our final tweaks to our future land use plan. And so yeah, I made those tweaks after our joint meeting with P&Z and council. And
When is
that should be going
the
forward.
date of that? Will that be?
I apologize. I may have set it on my calendar and then not emailed out yet. It was the end of the month though.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was looking at.
So all I have.
All right, well, thank you.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
So kind of related to one of the things Ed brought up, we talked about it a lot at our last P and Z with the architectural standards for Capital City Fruit.
Sure.
I just read the report. Did we decide, did they change fasteners on that, or is the current building up to architectural standards with concealed fasteners?
The current building the current addition
Okay,
is up to architectural standards of
Okay.
concealed fasteners.
gotcha.
We did reconfirm that after the P and Z meeting.
Okay.
Just to make sure that was the case. And then looking back, I'd mentioned I hadn't pulled up the resolution from that. So the resolution mentions about the city waiving the architectural standards and the idea that future additions would meet the standards, and that and then a separate kind of whereas, you always do these, whereas the city waives this. And then the second one was whereas Capital City will come back to P and Z and council within 3 years and kind of provide an update. So our understanding of the situation is Capital City's following that resolution by giving us an addition to the building that is compliant with our architectural standards.
Okay.
What is kind of missing is what their plans are, and then if you read the P and Z minutes, it contemplates really that north face of the warehouse portion was really, it seemed to be what the focus was. So what I've asked Capital City to do is at the council meeting, just come in attendance and kind of give the council at least an update at that point in time of what their thoughts are for future expansions on that northern portion. So we can at least have that discussion.
Okay.
And really, if you guys want them back here, I can drag them in here too. So just let me know.
All right, so our next meeting date is March 14th, 2022, providing we have a quorum. I think that's question is still out there. 5:45. Item 12 is the adjournment. I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motions.
Samuelson will second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:13 PM. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.